Every logo you have ever worn on the outside of your clothes exists because of one man. Not a designer. A French tennis player with ruined lungs, told at 25 that he would never compete again, who went looking for something else to win at. He found it. And then his own family gave it away. A boardroom in Paris, autumn 2012. A gray-haired man of 69 sits at a long table while votes are counted around him. His surname is on the building. It is on the shirt he is wearing. It is on shop fronts in 120 countries. In a few minutes, he will be told his time as chairman is over. The woman being handed his chair is 36 years old. She has sat on this board since 2005. She is also his daughter. Within 8 weeks, neither of them will own any of it. This is the story of a boy whose father gave him 5 years to become one of the best in the world, who lost his body just as he got there, and who invented something instead that changed what every person on Earth wears. It grew into a house selling roughly 2 products every second, valued at around 1 billion euros. And it did not fall to a bankruptcy, or a crime, or a rival. To understand what actually took it, we have to go back to a bet about a suitcase. 2 things before we do. Hit like and subscribe if you are not already, so the next one finds you. And if you would rather listen to these than watch them, House of Ruin is on Spotify as a podcast, every episode, so you can take this one into the car or the gym and finish it there. The link is waiting for you in the description. Now hold on to this, because the thing that destroyed this family was already sitting in the room 14 years before anyone in it noticed. Paris, 1919. In this France, a boy of good family does not choose his own life. His father chooses it, and the choice is the family business. Jean-Jules Lacoste was a wealthy, serious man in French automobiles, and he had plans for his son. His son wanted to play tennis. René was 15 when he first picked up a racket seriously, already late for that era. And he was not a natural. He was thin, he tired quickly, and every coach who watched him saw a breakable boy who would be gone in a season. So his father made him an offer that sounds generous and is actually a countdown. Play. Take it seriously. You have 5 years. If you are not among the best in the world by then, you come into the business and we never speak of it again. René took the deal. Then he did something nobody in tennis was doing. He started taking notes. He filled notebooks on every opponent he faced. Their weaknesses. Which shots they avoided under pressure. Where they stood when they were tired. He solved a match on paper before he walked onto the court, then memorized the solution. He was not trying to be beautiful. He was trying to be unbeatable. Remember that, because it is the thing his family never learned from him. It works. Wimbledon, America, 7 major titles, the Davis Cup taken off the United States, and the #1 ranking in the world, beaten into existence on paper by a boy nobody rated. The nickname arrives before the trophies do. In Boston, the French captain promises him a suitcase of crocodile skin if he wins a match. He does not win it. But an American reporter prints the story, and the public decides that the Frenchman who never lets go of a point is the crocodile. A friend sketches one, and René has it embroidered onto his tennis blazer. He is world #1 and 25 years old. And then his lungs give out. Respiratory illness ends his career while he is still at the top of it. He does not retire because he has been beaten. He retires because his body will no longer let him onto a court. 5 years to prove himself, barely 5 at the summit, and then it is taken back. Everything that follows is a man told to stop competing, who cannot. So he invents. In 1933, René Lacoste goes into business with André Gillier, who runs the largest knitwear operation in France. Tennis then is played in long-sleeved woven shirts, stiff and hot and heavy. He and Gillier put something else into production, in a soft cotton pique knit with a short buttoned placket and a longer tail. That garment is the polo shirt, as the world now knows it. A woven shirt is threads crossing at right angles, which is why it traps heat against you. A knit is loops, and loops move. The pique they chose lifts the fabric off the skin. But that is not the part that changed everything. They took the crocodile and they put it on the outside. Understand how strange that was. In 1933, a maker's mark belonged on a label sewn inside a collar. A gentleman did not advertise who made his clothes. And here is a tennis champion selling a shirt with a small green animal stitched onto the chest where everybody can see it. It is widely held to be the first time in history that a brand mark appeared on the outside of a piece of clothing. Every logo on every chest, every cap, and every shoe you have ever owned traces back to a crocodile on a white shirt in a French knitting mill. 79 years later, his own grandchildren will hand the rights to it to a company in Switzerland, and not one of them will want to. The family around it becomes a dynasty of winners. René marries a champion golfer. Their daughter Catherine wins the United States Women's Open as an amateur, something no other woman has done before or since. For 3 generations, being a Lacoste means winning. In 1964, his son takes over. Bernard Lacoste is 32, a former Air Force lieutenant who spent years at General Motors. Not a designer, an operator, and he runs the house for 40 years. Under Bernard, the crocodile leaves the tennis club and colonizes the planet. Shoes, fragrance, watches, leather. The house sells around 2 Lacoste products every second, all day, every day. While you have been watching this, several hundred have gone through a till. Hold on to that number, because it is the last good one in this story. In 1998, Bernard Lacoste makes one entirely sensible decision. It is the decision that ends his family. The first crack is not a betrayal. It is success turning rotten in the hands. By the 1990s, the crocodile is everywhere, and everywhere is the problem. The licensing that built Bernard's fortune has spread the logo so wide and so cheaply that it stops meaning anything. A mark that once signaled a champion starts signaling a man who stopped paying attention around 1980. So Bernard goes looking for a partner with real money and real distribution to pull it back. In 1998, a Swiss group called Maus Frères buys Devanlay, the company that manufactures and distributes Lacoste. Everything that happens 14 years later is decided in that sentence. The family did not sell the brand. They kept the crocodile. What went to Geneva was the machine that makes the shirts and puts them in the shops, and with it went 35% of the business and 3 votes on the board. At the time, it looks like a rescue, and it works. Bernard tightens the licenses, brings in a serious designer, and through the 2000s, the crocodile becomes desirable again. But the shape of the room has changed permanently. 22 Lacostes holding 65% between them. One Swiss company holding 35%, sitting very still. None of that matters, as long as one Lacoste can speak for all of them. In 2005, after 4 decades in the chair, Bernard Lacoste becomes seriously ill. He hands control to his younger brother, Michel. In March of 2006, Bernard dies. And with him goes the last person in that family with the authority to tell everybody else what happens next. For 6 more years, the crocodile just keeps selling. 22 cousins, siblings, and nieces hold their shares, sign what they are asked to sign, and never once sit down and count which way each of them would vote. In Geneva, nobody is in any hurry. September 2012. The board of Lacoste meets and elects Sophie Lacoste-Dournel as president. She is 36. She has sat on this board since the year her uncle fell ill. She is Michel Lacoste's daughter. Her father does not accept it. He calls the vote irregular, and the board that produced it irregular too. He wants his niece, Beryl Lacoste Hamilton, 56, who has actually run several of the company's licensed businesses. Then he does the thing that cannot be taken back. He goes to the press. In the pages of Le Monde, one of the most read newspapers in France, Michel Lacoste says of his own daughter that she has not spent, in his words, a day of her life in a business, and is not capable of running a successful company. That sentence is permanent now. It sits in a national archive, said by a father, about his daughter, at the moment she takes the chair his own father built. He takes it to court, asking a judge to strike down her appointment. He tells anyone who will listen that the Swiss have convinced half his own family to form an alliance against him. The board does not renew his mandate. They replace him with an outsider, a senior executive from French Cosmetics, a man with no Lacoste blood in him, sitting in the chair of the champion who started it. On that same board sits Patrick Thomas, the head of Hermès, a man who understands better than almost anybody alive what happens to a family house when the family stops agreeing. He had backed Michel. He gives up his seat and walks away. When the man who runs Hermès decides he no longer wants to be in your boardroom, the story is already over. Nobody in the family reads it that way yet, and the courts do not save Michel Lacoste either. He asks a judge to undo what the board has done to him, and he does not get the chair back. He is a man of 69 who has spent his whole adult life inside his father's company, and he has just discovered that there is nothing left in it that will obey him. And it does not stay in the boardroom, because it cannot. There are 22 Lacostes holding shares in this thing, and every single one of them now has to pick a side. Cousins who grew up together, siblings. Beryl, the niece, pushed into open competition with her own cousin for a chair neither of them will end up sitting in. There is no version of this where a family fights in a national newspaper and is still a family afterwards. Every one of them knows it. Not one of them stops. By October, the house that held this company for nearly 80 years is split into 2 armed camps, in the courts, in the international press, and in front of every licensee, distributor, and department store buyer they do business with. Foreign papers pick it up. A brand built on a champion who never showed weakness is now a story about a rich French family that cannot be in a room together. And in Geneva, the Swiss are watching all of it. Here is how it ends, and it ends fast. Michel Lacoste is not going to win the boardroom, so he does the only thing left that hurts. In October, he and the shareholders on his side agree to sell their block, roughly 30% of the company, to Maus Frères. Now look at what that does to his daughter. Under the family agreement, the others have a choice: buy the whole company out at the highest price the Swiss have offered, or sell on exactly the same terms. Her father has not simply sold his shares, he has set the price, and he has started the clock. This is not a negotiation anymore. It is a mechanism, and it is running. Sophie Lacoste-Dournel tries to raise the money to buy the family's own company back. Think about what she is being asked to do. She has weeks to find roughly €1 billion of financing from banks who read the same newspapers as everyone else, who have watched her own father tell the country she is not capable of running a business, and who must now decide whether to hand her the money to run it. She cannot do it. The financing does not come together in time. She later says plainly that it became extremely complicated and that they had found themselves inside a personal conflict that was very difficult to handle. In November, her group sells its 28% to the Swiss as well. She says the family sold with great sadness. The whole thing is valued at around €1 billion. Look at what each of them actually got. Michel Lacoste did not save the company from his daughter. He handed it to strangers, and then watched an outsider keep the chair he had refused to give her. Sophie won the vote, held the presidency for a matter of weeks, and presided over the moment her family stopped owning anything. Neither of them won. There is no winner in this story at all. Only a Swiss holding company that never once raised its voice. 8 weeks. Count that against what it destroyed. 4 generations. 3 champions. A shirt that changed how the entire species dresses. A name carried through the death of its founder, and through a decade when nobody young would wear it. All of it held together, and then gone in the time it takes to run a summer. And the sentence in Le Monde does not go anywhere. It will outlive both of them. Whatever else Michel Lacoste did in 80 years, what is written down about him in a national newspaper is what he said about his own daughter in the week she got the job. The crocodile did not care. Today, Lacoste turns over close to €3 billion a year and employs more than 8,000 people across more than 100 countries. That small green animal is one of the most recognized marks on Earth, and every logo stitched onto the outside of every garment in the world is descended from it. It is owned by Maus Freres of Geneva, a private Swiss family firm that tells the public almost nothing about itself. There is no Lacoste running Lacoste. Now go back to where this started. A father tells his son he has 5 years to prove he is good enough, and if he fails, he comes into the family business. 93 years later, a father tells a newspaper his daughter is not good enough, and the family business stops being the family's. The same house, the same name, the same sentence, pointed the other way. René Lacoste filled notebooks on his opponents because he refused to lose to anybody. He was pushed to quit at 15 and forced to quit at 25. And both times he found another way to win. He built a name that survived being cheapened, survived being unfashionable, and survived the death of the son who saved it. The only thing it could not survive was his own descendants in a room together. He spent his whole life studying how people lose. He wrote down where they stand when they are tired, and which shot they avoid when the score is against them, and he beat the greatest player in the world with it. Nobody in his family ever took notes on each other. The crocodile is still on 10,000 shop fronts. The people who drew it are not in a single one of them. So decide, because I do not think this one is obvious. Was Michel Lacoste protecting his father's company from someone he believed could not run it? Or did he burn the whole thing down because he could not stand losing it to his own daughter? There is a version where he is the only adult in the room, and a version where he is the reason none of them own it anymore. Put your answer in the comments and argue it properly, because I read them, and the good ones change how I write the next one. Subscribe before you go. There is another name coming, and that family did not lose their empire. They held on to it, and it cost them far more than €1 billion.